It is very cold out there. Ah!
What's up, guys? Welcome to this installment of Mike's Vehicle Vlogs. I want to thank you so much for joining me again today as we take a look, finally take a look, at the 6-month ownership review of my 2015 Ford Fusion S. I'm not going to lie, I wanted this to be the 200th vlog since I was at my 200th episode 2 vlogs ago, and because of the timing of the weather and stuff outside of work, I mean all kinds of factors, I wasn't actually able to film this until now on this nice day, but it's still really cold. It's like 25 degrees and it's kind of breezy, so. But at least the sun's out, the snow is not around right now. I did have the car washed last weekend, so it really doesn't look too terrible. It doesn't look too much like winter right now. But yeah, I wanted this to be the 200th vlog, and I really wasn't able to make that happen. So it's 202. Vlog number 202, yay! So honestly, you know, it's been 6 months as of January 31st. Marked this 6-month, 6-month ownership of the car, and today is February 10th. So we're just a little over the 6 months at this point. But you know, to be completely honest, so far this car has been absolutely a delight to have, and I'm definitely not bored with it. I still think it's a great car. I have had the car into the shop, you know, a few times over the last 6 months, but for nothing major, just for a lot of little things here and there that needed to be done with the car. But yeah, so I'll get to that stuff a little bit later. But yeah, I bought a Fusion, so I don't know. I'm not sure exactly how many of you guys keep up with the vlogs on a, you know, timely schedule, I guess. I don't know if a lot of you guys follow each vlog as it comes out, or if some of you guys just tune in from time to time. But if you don't know, I did buy the 2015 Ford Fusion S back on July 31st, and the car that I traded in was my 2011 Ford Escape XLT, which I absolutely loved. I absolutely loved the Escape. And, you know, to be completely honest with you guys, I wasn't planning on getting rid of the Escape. I know I've said that in the other vlogs in regards to the trade-in of the Escape. I really didn't plan on getting rid of that car. That car was absolutely phenomenal over the just, you know, about 3 years I had it. Great car, great car. So far, it was the best car that I've had. Can't really say that about this one yet because I haven't had it long enough. But if it can bring me the same kind of luck that the Escape had given me, then yes, it'll be right up there with the Escape. But this one came in on a trade, and of course I work at the dealership doing pictures of all of the cars now, so it's very tempting when a car comes in and you know, I have to take pictures of it. You know, some cars I just absolutely fall in love with, some cars I don't like, but this was one of the ones that I fell in love with. And it's really bizarre because it's an S. It's the plain Jane of the Fusion world. So there's not a whole lot of gadgets with this one. I mean, it's perfect for what I need, for what I want, but it's just the bare minimum. There is not one single piece of optional equipment on this particular Fusion, and I think it's a fantastic car as far as the features. It pleases me just fine. I'm happy with it. My whole thing with the Fusion kind of began when I had to do pictures of a 2015 Fusion SE, and it was a fully decked out Fusion. It had the I think it was called the SE Luxury Package or something like that. I mean, it had leather, it had the touchscreen, with my Ford Touch, it had the gauge cluster with the 2 screens and stuff. I mean, the car was just laid out so nicely. It's silver like this, and that's kind of what I was going for. I did kind of look into that one, but unfortunately the payments would have been a little too much. So I kind of let it go, and not too long afterwards, this one came about. And I took pictures of it probably a day or two after it had been traded in at the dealership. So when I saw it for the first time, it hadn't even been completely cleaned. You know, I mean, it looked good, but it hadn't really gone through the entire detail process. It didn't have anything shined up. But I mean, it was clean. It was vacuumed and stuff, and the outside was washed a little bit, and it looked good. I just kind of thought, it being there and just kind of seeing the condition it was in before the dealership actually, does the full-on, detail where they give it a nice coat of wax and they shine the dashboard stuff, and they scrub the seats and vacuum the carpets. It's really nice. I mean, this one was in really good shape. As a matter of fact, there really isn't, cosmetically, there really isn't anything on the outside that bothers me. I mean, the car is nearly like scratch-free. There's a couple of scratches up here on the hood. There's 3 scratches here. And honestly, I don't even know if they were there when I bought the car or not. But there's 3 scratches here that I'm going to plan on getting fixed. And I was really upset because over this past winter, when we had the foot of snow, I don't know if you guys saw that vlog yet or not, but when we had the foot of snow, I had to shovel the driveway, and I was holding the shovel. I went to go turn around next to the car, and I put a scratch, I don't know, about yay long maybe, put a scratch right in the door from the metal end of the shovel, and that upset me greatly. But I did have that fixed. The guy who comes to my place of work and touches up the cars paint-wise and stuff, he put some clear coat on it. That's all I managed to do, and the clear coat in it, you wouldn't even know it's there now. So I'm just really glad I got that taken care of, and I'm thinking maybe that's what's up with the front scratches also. So I might have him touch that up here in the near future as well. A lot of people were kind of wondering why I went from the opposite side of the spectrum when I bought this one. But yeah, the SE one honestly would have been my ideal Fusion, especially with that luxury package or whatnot. It was an absolute gem. It drove nice. The comfort level on both, regardless of what model Fusion you get, this one drives just as nice as that SE did. So, I mean, the comfort's still the same. And yeah, like I said, it might be an S, but I love it. I just absolutely love this car. It was hard to give up the Escape. The very last night that I had the Escape, I was kind of depressed about it. I mean, I was so excited at the same time that I was getting not a brand new car, but a new car. I was looking forward to having the car here. But that very last night with the Escape, I was also very sad to let the Escape go. That car was phenomenal, and some of you guys may be wondering if I missed the Escape, and yes, I still miss it very much. There are a lot of qualities with the Escape that I don't miss, to be honest with you, like the comfort of the ride, for one. I mean, the Escape was comfortable, but it being the SUV that it was, it had a lot of rockiness to it, of course, and it never really bothered me all that much. My wife didn't care for that a whole lot. But it is nice to drive something that doesn't have that much of a rocky feel to it. So, yeah, I mean, I don't really miss that part of it. When we had all of the really bad snow and stuff, I did miss the fact that Escape pretty much plows through everything because of higher ground clearance, bigger tires. Even though it wasn't a four-wheel drive model, that car really did get through a lot of bad weather. And so far, the Fusion hasn't been too bad either. I think because of its wide stance, it actually handles really well in the bad weather that we have had so far this winter. So yeah, it's not bad. It's not bad at all. But yes, I do miss the Escape, and if I was able to, I would have definitely have kept both of them. But not able to make that happen. So now there were a couple of things cosmetically that I did have to get used to with this particular Fusion, only because there are a few things with an S model that are different from any other Fusion trim that you could get. For one, the black body cladding down here at the rocker moldings, that is an S-only feature, and I do like the color matching moldings better than the black ones, but nowadays, looking at it, it really doesn't bother me. I really don't care now. So, but that was one thing at first that I wasn't 100% on, was just the black cladding, and it goes all the way around the car too. It's not only on the sides, but it's at the lower end of the front bumper, and it's also back here at the back bumper also. But I honestly don't care about it anymore. The only other thing that I was kind of iffy about too were the actual rims. These are what, 10-spoke rims? I think, yeah, 10-spoke rims. My ideal rim was the 5-spoke wheels that were on a lot of Fusions. The one SE, like just the standard SE wheel, I think is usually what it is. But it's the 5 spokes, and they got the little splits in the middles, and I always like those wheels. This is not a bad looking wheel. I do like it. I'm thankful that it's not the hubcaps or the wheel covers that used to come on the S models prior to this year. They used to actually put wheel covers on them, so I'm glad that they're not wheel covers, but I do like them now. I've grown to really like them. When I washed the car for the first time by hand, like I said last weekend, I washed it by hand for the first time. The wheels, there's a lot more to cleaning them because of the fact that there are 10 spokes, and yeah, definitely more areas that you got to get into and around when it comes to these particular wheels here. But I like them now. I don't have a problem with them. So they just kind of had to grow on me, and that's okay. The other key features that I like about the exterior of the car, of course, the headlights are fantastic at night. They're actually projector beam headlights. They're the halogen lights, but they have the projector beams in the lenses. The chrome front end. I love the chrome front end. I just think the entire front end of this particular generation Fusion looks aggressive, and I love it. I do miss having fog lights. This one doesn't have fog lights, but again, something I just kind of grew to accept and don't really care about now. I like the fact that the mirrors, they have color caps, color door handles. I like the little fin, the little antenna up here. I think that's pretty neat. And the taillights are also completely LED, so I think that those are awesome. The only thing that I'm not looking forward to is if there happens to come a day when these taillights don't work. You can't just go in and replace bulbs like you used to with the old incandescent taillights. You have to completely replace the entire LED assembly, and that could be a pretty penny. So they say LEDs are supposed to last forever. Doubt it. I think we've seen LEDs not last that aren't that old, but I can only hope that these will last for many, many, many years to come. So having the car in the shop, like I mentioned earlier, I have had to have the car in the shop for a few different things since I've had it. Nothing major, but it has been back to the dealership for a couple of minor issues that have taken place within the last 6 months. And one of the first things that it had to go back into the dealership for was the fuel door. And I didn't know this when I had bought the car, but apparently the fuel door that was on the Fusion when I bought it was broke. You should be able to push in the door like this and it pops out. And then when you open it, it stays open like so. This one, on the car when I bought it, this was actually loose and it didn't want to stay open all the time. And when you went to go click it in, it wouldn't click. And I didn't really notice that you had to close it by just clicking it in and out like that. So that was replaced under warranty. So that was one thing that was taken care of. Another thing that I had to have taken care of was it felt like the car was pulling to, I think it was the right at the time. So I knew that the car had gone through an alignment process because it's a certified pre-owned Ford, and of course it has to go through all of this rigorous maintenance stuff, make sure that the alignment's correct and the car is not falling to pieces, obviously, and stuff. So it did have a front end alignment just days, into my ownership. It had an alignment performed, and it felt like it was still pulling. So it turned out to be what they call radial pull, which is something I never really knew of. But what they did at the dealership is they took this tire and put it on that side and put that tire over here. They just pretty much rotated the front tires, and that seemed to correct the issue. And as of right now, I do not have any issues with it pulling thus far. Now the tires are probably still the original tires, and there's still pretty decent amount of tread on them. Obviously they wouldn't have certified the car if the tread was bad, or they would have told me I need to get new tires and just tack it on to the bill of sale. But the tires are still pretty good. I am thinking we're probably going to need tires probably within the next year or two. I'll try to get tires for it. If they are the original tires, we're close to 40,000 miles on the car, so I'm thinking they are the original ones. But they're not that bad yet, so there's still some time there. One other thing that I did have put back into the shop for was a transmission concern. And, it seems to be okay now, but from time to time, going into reverse, sometimes, it doesn't matter if it's cold or if it's warm, but I'll get a sudden jolt when it goes into reverse. It doesn't happen all the time. It's really strange. But, I don't know. They scanned it, of course, and everything seems to be fine. Computer's not picking up any codes. And then the other concern that I had was sometimes 1 to 2 felt like it was a little harsh, but it hasn't been doing it lately. So the 1 to 2 shift seems to be okay. And then from time to time, I'm still getting the reverse jolt. One thing I do want to do soon, we're just about ready for an oil change on this whenever we get a nice warmer day to do it. But I do want to change the transmission fluid out because it is Mercon LV. And I've been told Mercon LV usually breaks down between 30 to 40,000 miles, especially based on the experience of my Escape. It has the exact same fluid. Once I changed the fluid in my Escape shifted flawlessly through every gear. So I'm thinking maybe it's just time for the fluid to come out of this transmission, put some new fluid in it, and hopefully that might cure the issue. So we'll see what that does, hopefully within the next few weeks or so. Now, another weird issue that I had with this car were the wipers, the wiper arms. These wipers, the driver's side comes up this way and the passenger side goes over to that side. So they kind of do this kind of thing. And the driver's side wiper always seemed like it was out of alignment with the other wiper arm. So I did have that corrected shortly after I bought the car. Like, I don't know, I had the car for a few weeks or something. We finally had a rainy day and I had to use the wipers, and that's when I found out that the wiper, it was actually coming up to here. It wasn't even coming all the way to the spot where it should be, so it would come to like right in the middle of your vision area, and that stopped there. Really weird. So they realigned it, and it was coming all the way to the very end of the windshield now. But the next issue that I had with it, which was maybe, I don't know, 2 months ago, I'd say, close to 2 months ago, the driver's side wiper would kind of get hung up in the middle of the windshield for some reason. So you would be driving and you'd have the wipers going, and the driver would do this. It would kind of like act like it was getting stuck, and didn't really know why. Didn't matter how wet the windshield was, it was just kind of sticking, and then it would fling down. And so I took it back, and it turns out whoever did the inspection of the car when it was certified stuck the wrong size wiper blades on the arms. So the tech that I spoke to about it said that the wiper blades were actually 2 inches longer than what they should have been, and it was kind of catching spots on the windshield where the arms shouldn't have been. So he replaced the arms, or not the arms, he replaced the wiper blades, realigned the arms, and I haven't had an issue with it ever since. So it's amazing how something so small like that, 2-inch wiper blade difference, can really make on the performance of your wipers.
So as of right now, the car itself is sitting at 39,849.3 miles. And since I was driving it home from day one, I have put 5,324.4 miles on it. The nice thing about this particular trip computer is that I can also keep tabs on other various things about the car since I bought it. So not only does it reset the mileage, but I can also keep track of the amount of time that I've had the car running for since I've bought it, and how much gas I've put into it, which is very interesting. So right now it looks like 244 hours and 48 minutes, 7 seconds, 8 seconds, 9 seconds. So that's how long I've had it running for since I drove it off the lot. And we've used 223.5 gallons of gasoline. Yes. And actually, let me bring that to the next my next topic, and that is, of course, the engine. This being an S model, it does not have the EcoBoost engine. It just has the naturally aspirated 2.5 liter 175 horsepower 4-cylinder engine. It's pretty much the exact same engine that was in the Escape that I got rid of, just slightly different in some areas, but nonetheless it's pretty much the same exact engine. I like this engine. Just from my experience with having it in the Escape, it seemed like a very problem-free engine. And it held oil. So far this one seems to be holding oil. I'm not losing oil, so that's a good sign there. The only thing that I've noticed that is slightly different between this Fusion and the Escape, and to be honest, I'm really surprised about this, but I feel like I do go through gasoline a little more in this car than I did in the Escape. Despite it having the same size engine, and this car actually making like 4 more horses than the version that was in the Escape, I feel like my gas mileage is slightly poorer in the Fusion. Now, according to this trip computer that I was just talking about, once it was reset from day one, I am averaging at 23.8 miles per gallon. That's still not terrible, but I still sometimes feel like I'm using more gas in this car than I did in the Escape. And it's just strange because the Escape is an SUV, and I felt like even in the Escape the 4-cylinder might have been underpowered, but I don't know. I can still go 2 weeks on a full tank of gas, and that's really all that I care about, because that's just my routine, I guess. But it just seems like by the end of the 2 weeks I am a lot lower, like near completely empty status in this car than I was in the Escape. I don't know. Other than that, fantastic engine. Very little vibration from this 4-cylinder, and the overall noise of the engine in the cabin is pretty decent. You can't really hear it all that much. So I like it. I'm happy with this engine. I was kind of afraid of having an EcoBoost engine because of the turbochargers and stuff like that. You know, turbos can be problems if they go bad and whatnot, so I don't know. I like just sticking with the naturally aspirated engines, and I'm glad I got this one. As mentioned earlier, the comfort of the car is still fantastic. These seats are very comfortable. Overall road noise isn't bad. Brakes are still strong. The handling of the car is one of the car's stronger points. It is a responsive steering feel. It's wonderful. I like it. The stuff on the inside of the car, you know, it being an S, as I've mentioned, you know, even though it's the very base, there are still a lot of features in this car that I am completely happy with. I don't have anything in this car that I don't need, and everything in this car that I have, I pretty much use. So it's great. Automatic headlights, powered everything, windows, door locks, mirrors. All of the windows are one touch up and one touch down, so that was quite a surprise when I found out that all of the windows did that, not just the driver's side window. It still has my Ford, or not my Ford, but Sync, Microsoft Sync. So I still have hands-free calling, voice command, and all that stuff is amazing. I love using the hands-free phone. It's a lot better to keep your phone in your pocket, and if somebody calls, you can just push the button on the steering wheel and answer it and talk to them. It's a nice, safer system. This one has just the standard screen, which it's actually still a really nice display. I like the graphics in it and stuff like that. One thing that I was really happy with, I guess it's one thing that I don't really need, but it is nice to have. Has a backup camera, so it's a base model, has a backup camera that shows up in the dashboard display, and it is nice to have from time to time, but I don't rarely ever use it. This transmission is 6-speed automatic, but it does have the select shift manumatic feature, so I can shift the car into sport mode and then shift it myself if I want to. You know, I found myself not really using that a whole lot over the 6 months. I thought I would use it more if I had a car that had it. I've probably used it in my Fiesta more than I've used it in the Fusion. But I have used it, and it does make the driving more fun when you have the area to do it in. The only other time that I've used it was recently with the icy roads and stuff. I'll kind of do the engine braking technique if I'm going down a hill or something like that, and I'll either keep the car in first or second gear to kind of keep me slow and keep me from locking up the brakes and stuff like that. So that's one thing that I do like. The Escape didn't have this feature at all. It only had a low range, and that was it. You couldn't even shift into any other gear other than drive and reverse and whatnot. So I'm glad to actually have something now that I can kind of go through the gears pneumatically if I wanted to. The only thing that I have a gripe about as far as something inside the car is the chime from the gauge cluster. So I think it's been on camera just a couple of times now, but for some strange reason, I will turn the car on and I might get one chime, or I'll get a default chime, and the default chime is annoying and it sounds like the car might still be in transport mode. But the nicer normal chime is supposed to kind of sound through the speakers, and it has like a nice softer tone. But the default chime goes through the cluster, and it's just loud, and I don't like it. So, I mean, it's not that big a deal. I just want to know if anybody else with a Fusion has this issue where they get two different tone chimes, and why it does it. See? That's how it should be all the time. The only thing that I could think of in regards to that issue is this car does still have the original battery and just because of the cold temperatures, I think before next winter I'll have to replace the battery if it doesn't die this winter still. So I wonder if maybe sometimes the battery doesn't, send enough signal to that particular electronic component, and maybe that's why it does it. But I just always found it weird that I get two different chimes, and that's the only thing on the inside that kind of bothers me, even though it's not that big a deal. The rest of the inside is pretty quiet. There's really no rattles or anything when you go over the bumps. If there were, I probably wouldn't really hear it all that much because I like to have my music on all the time and have it loud. Like right now, we're driving over these bumps and there's no rattles or anything. The only time that I ever hear any noise coming from the interior components is if I have the heat on for a long time. The plastic up here on the dashboard might creak because of the heat. And that's it. So I don't know. I still think it's pretty sad that Ford is most likely still phasing out the Fusion because of the whole SUV truck crossover market busting and completely taking over everything. So Ford and even Chevy and a lot of companies are getting rid of sedans, and this Fusion is unfortunately still on the block, I think. Now, I am seeing more 2019s at my dealership, but I'm noticing that all the 2019s at the dealership that we're getting, they're all hybrid models. We haven't had one new 2019 Fusion that is not a hybrid, and I'm still not crazy about the hybrid stuff. So would I ever consider getting a Fusion hybrid? Probably not. The only time that I would buy another Fusion is if it was a completely, gasoline-powered engine. If it was a Sport, I'd definitely take it. I loved that Fusion Sport that I did the MVS feature on a while ago. Only other thing about the inside I think that I can think of before I kind of wrap up this driving segment anyway, even though I'm home, and the next clip you see is going to be me standing outside of the car back at the park, but whatever. The seat color, it's these dark, I think it's called dark earth gray or earth gray, something like that. So it's basically like a gray cloth seat. I would have preferred to have an all black interior like my Escape was, but the SE is the next trim up to offer black seats, and the only thing that comes with the S are black accents, gray seats. So when you get an S model, you're pretty much stuck with these gray seats. And I wasn't crazy about it at first. I mean, I do like the color, don't get me wrong. I like the color, I like the design. Obviously the seat itself feels fantastic, but I was really concerned about the fact that it's a lightly colored fabric, and just stuff from drinks, it's obviously going to dirty up the fabric easier. You'll be able to see it. And over the 6 months, as much as I like to try to keep the car clean, there are some stuff already that has shown up on the seats. So maybe over the summer I'll have the dealership do a complete cleanup of the interior again, just because keep it maintained. Maybe have them do their scrubber or whatever they use to clean up all the fabric and stuff. I mean, the seats looked absolutely fantastic when the car was brought home, but just over the 6 months now, unfortunately, some stains are starting to kind of show up, and it kind of sucks. Well, guys, I think that's all that I really have to say about the Fusion so far. 6 months in, over 6 months in at this point, I'm still loving the car very much. Other than the small little inconveniences that I've had to take it back for, there really isn't anything majorly wrong with the car yet. So I'm still extremely happy with it, and I really do hope that this is the last car that I buy for, well, at least until it's paid off. But no, it's an absolute great car, and I think I'll get many good years out of this one so far. So that's where we stand with the 2015 Ford Fusion S.
And that is my 6-month review of it. So I'm going to call it a day, guys. If you guys enjoyed this vlog, don't forget to give it a thumbs up, comment, subscribe. Also check out teespring.com/stores/Mike's Vehicle Spotlight for all of your MVS and vlog merchandise. That's all that I've got for you guys today. So thank you so much for watching. I do appreciate everybody who watches these vlogs. And yeah, episode 202. What a special. I'll see you guys next time, so thank you again for watching. Take care.